Hey, Happy New Year. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get started with this video, I just want to say thank you again for those of you who have stopped by and decided to subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. I don't promote this channel or advertise it on any other social media platforms, so the fact that you made your way here meant that you just stumbled across this channel, and it's really cool. I appreciate it. Also, I wanted to thank those of you that recently participated in the community poll posting. I just asked if any of you were interested in seeing some dirt bike riding footage, and 90% of you seem interested. So in the future, you could expect to see some kind of dirt enduro, maybe even a mix of trials, just because I'm kind of interested in it all. So anyway, the other day, as I was digging through some of the many terabytes of riding footage I've collected over the years, I ended up coming across this video. This video was actually the first ride I recorded on my FZ-09. This bike did have a few performance upgrades. Some of those upgrades included a upgraded rear shock to a KTM shock, kind of stiffened the front forks a little bit with some stiffer springs. It did have an ECU flash that was to kind of couple with the Lextech full exhaust system, and just kind of unlocked a different level of power on this bike. It also had a quick shifter, just clutchless upshifts. Did not have an auto blip programmed at the time, so just clutchless upshifts, but still kind of had to blip down or rev match on downshifts. But other than that, the bike, handled great. And I'm just kind of spending this first hour or two here that you kind of see part of just getting used to the bike. I think that's a really important thing for those of you who kind of get a new bike or are thinking about getting a new bike. Just kind of, when you do get that bike, just go out and just kind of go on a solo ride if you can, and just get a feel for the bike. Use your first ride out on kind of a peaceful road as your shakedown. That will really give you a good idea of what the bike is capable of, and also just kind of reprogram your brain to either your first bike or just a new bike in general. Because while all of these bikes, may kind of look the same to some who are lesser knowing, each bike handles completely differently. That can range from the model year to the type of bike to the style. Just things change all the time. So it's important to just kind of go out and just do a practice run on your bike, which is what this was. So while I was out, although this was my kind of introduction to the bike, when I pulled over on the side of the road for a second, I had ran into Cascardio, who you see here, who was out riding with a buddy on he was on the KTM 1290 Super Duke R, and his buddy was on a Yamaha WR 250 Supermoto. And I just decided just to kind of hang out in the back, because sometimes it's nice just to, even though you are kind of on your just break and ride, it is just kind of nice just to follow others, just to kind of see what their pace is and get an idea. And in this case, it actually helped me learn the road a little bit, since this was only my second time on this road. So although I'm just kind of hanging out in the back, and even though sometimes I do like to go at a little bit quicker pace, this was just a nice, enjoyable ride. Just it was beautiful weather. It was very minimal traffic, and the sun kind of just slowly getting closer to that horizon just made for a really memorable and enjoyable experience. As you watch this video, you may notice just kind of how loud the KTM 1290 is when it's straight pipe. On this bike in particular, it does have the shortest possible Austin Racing exhaust that you can get, with the baffling removed from it. And then also some of the insulation from the pipe itself was removed. So this really is just a straight pipe, and coming off a twin is extremely loud. In fact, the camera does not do it justice. I always ride with earplugs, but it was deafeningly loud, and the part that was really sticks in my memory was just how I could feel the sound hitting my chest as I was riding. So the camera does not do it justice, but this bike was extremely obnoxious, way louder than I would ever run my KTM. But overall, it was still just a fun experience, and also just kind of funny, but I just thought I should mention that. Another thing I also wanted to mention, and I can discuss this topic in another video in further detail as well, is riding gear. So in this video, I'm actually wearing dirt bike boots. Although I do have, street leather jacket and pants and stuff like that, I am actually wearing dirt bike boots. And the problem with wearing dirt bike boots on a sport bike for most people, depending on the manufacturer of your boot, is that the sole is usually thicker on the bottom of dirt bike boots. So it's very uncomfortable and kind of forces your feet into these awkward positions compared to a sport bike boot, which kind of has a built-in heel or it's kind of cut out on the bottom. Every boot varies, but in this case, these are Alpine Star dirt bike boots. So they're probably, 3 or 4 times the thickness of a regular sport bike boot that I would normally wear, which is a pair of CDs. So very awkward and uncomfortable riding position, but I'm just kind of getting used to it, which kind of explains why I'm riding so stiff. I'll try to link it if I can find it, but there's actually an external riding footage from this day because the lead bike had a GoPro mounted on the rear of their bike. So I'll kind of try to see if I can at some point sync up the footage and maybe do a little side-by-side comparison like I've done in the past. But yeah, that's kind of the reason why it's important to wear comfortable gear and the correct gear for the type of riding that you're doing. Because while there are some riders who are comfortable wearing dirt bike boots on their sport bike, and some of you might ask, why would someone want to do that when they have street and touring boots and stuff like that? And it honestly comes down to comfort. Out of all the boots on the market, dirt bike boots probably offer the most protective feeling out of any boot, just because they come up so high and they kind of put your leg in a brace, and they really just feel like they have a lot of protection because they're intended to be stiff. Because when you're riding off-road, you're hitting jumps, you're standing up, you're moving around a lot on the bike, and your ankles take a lot of impact. So it's almost like a soft cast on your foot, versus for a sport bike boot, they're usually built for breathability, but more important, flexibility. So they're a lot softer, they're a lot more bendable, and they're just overall a way more flexible boot. So that's why some people do choose to wear, dirt bike boots. But in this case, those are just the only boots that I had at the time. I didn't have any sport bike boots yet, so dirt bike boots were the safest thing that I had to wear, so that's what I wore. So anyway, I'm kind of going to leave the video from here. There's not really much more action that takes place after this. If you just kind of want to cruise around, or you're not able to right now, you can just kind of let the video play as we just ride away from the sunset, but just enjoying the road at a very leisurely pace. Before I do leave, I just want to say again, thank you to those of you who have stopped by, like this stuff enough to subscribe and continue to ride along with us. It is greatly appreciated, and I really do enjoy, talking to all of you in the comments and responding to some of your questions and offering any advice that I can. Just overall, just continuing to kind of share my passion and interest and the little bit that I know about the vast sport. Anyway, thanks again. I hope everyone out there has a good year, and stay safe out there.